Chapter 9, Lesson 5, Measures of Variation. You will be able to find and interpret the mean absolute deviation for our data. You have used measures of center to describe the middle of a set of data. You have also used range to describe the spread or variation of a set of data. Another way to describe the variation of a set of data is to use its mean absolute deviation. The mean absolute deviation of a set of data is the average distance between each data value and the mean. So the first thing you need to do is to find the mean. So take your data and find the mean. When you get that mean, you're going to subtract the mean and each data point. You are going to take the absolute value of that number. So basically, subtract it and take the positive distance. Then find the average of those values. It sounds complicated. It's not. It's just a couple of steps here. So, letter A. The table shows the heights of the first 8 people standing in line to ride a roller coaster. Find the mean absolute deviation of the set of data. Describe what the mean absolute deviation represents. So we have 8 data points here. The first thing we're going to do is add them up and divide by 8. So 52 plus 48 plus 60 plus 55 plus 59 plus 54 plus 58 plus 62 and you're going to divide by 8 data points. Okay. When you do that, you get 56. The total up top would be 448 over 8, which equals 56. So the mean is 56. What we need to do is take each data point and subtract it from the mean. So we'll take 56 minus 52, but we'll take the absolute value of that. 56 minus 52 is 4. The absolute value of 4 is 4. 56 minus 48, and I'm just going in order here. So 56 minus 48 is 8. The absolute value of 8 is 8. 56 minus 60. Well, 56 minus 60 is negative 4. The absolute value is 4. 56 minus 55 is 1. The absolute value of 1 is 1. 56 minus 59 is negative 3. The absolute value being 3. 56 minus 54 is 2. The absolute value is 2. 56, absolute value, 56 minus 58 is negative 2. The absolute value of which is 2. And one more. We have 56 minus 62 which is 6, negative 6. Absolute value is 6. So, step 1, found the mean. Step 2, subtract each data point from the mean. And of course, taking the absolute value. And our last step is to now find the mean of these numbers. So 4 plus 8 plus 4 plus 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 6 all over 8 gives us 30 over 8, which equals 3.75. So the mean absolute deviation is 3.75. Now we have to describe what it means. Well, the MAD equals 3.75, which means that the average distance each person's height is from the mean is 3.75 inches. Okay, let's do it again. The number of points that Samantha scored in 5 basketball games was 8, 14, 10, 7, and 13. Find the mean absolute deviation and what it represents. Okay, so we've got our numbers. Let's add them together. 8 plus 14 plus 10 plus 7 plus 13. And divide it by 5 numbers this time. Which equals 52 over 5. Which equals 10.4. Now we're going to take the absolute value of each data point subtracted from the mean. So I'm going to go ahead and set them all up first and then find the differences. Okay, so the first one is 10.4 minus 8 absolute value. Absolute value of 10.4 minus 14. Absolute value of 10.4 minus 10. Absolute value of 10.4 minus 7. And absolute value of 10.4 minus 13. So this is the absolute value of 2.4, which equals 2.4. This next one is the absolute value of negative 3.6, which equals 3.6. The next one is the absolute value of 0.4, which equals 0.4. The next one is the absolute value of 3.4, which equals 3.4. And the last is the absolute value of negative 2.6, which equals 2.6. So to find the MID, we're going to average these numbers together. So we have 2.4 plus 3.6 plus 0.4 plus 3.4 plus 2.6, and we're going to divide that by 5. We get 12.4 over 5. Which equals 2.48. That is the MAD. And now let's write what it represents. MAD equals 2.48, which means the average each score is from the mean score is 2.48 points. Standard deviation. The standard deviation of a set of data is a calculated value that shows how the data deviates from the mean of the data. In a given set of data, most of the values fall within one standard deviation of the mean. So, if the mean of a set of data is 21 and the standard deviation is 3.5, then most of the data values fall between 21 minus 3.5, which is 17.5, and 21 plus 3.5, which is 24.5. So most of the data falls between 17.5 to 24.5. So the first thing you need to do is to find the mean, and then find the range of values that are within one standard deviation of the mean. So the standard deviation of quiz scores for Class A is about 1.2. Describe the quiz scores that are within one standard deviation of the mean. So the first thing we need to do is find the mean. In this case, we have 12 data. So let's add up this data and divide by 12. 9 plus 8 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 9 plus 10 plus 7 plus 10 plus 8 plus 8. And we're going to divide that data again by 12. We get 99 over 12, which equals 8.25. So the mean is 8.25. All we need to do from here is we need to take this 1.2, which is our standard deviation. We're going to add it to the mean. And we're going to subtract it from the mean. When we add them, we get 9.45. And when we subtract them, we get 7.05. So this is what that means. Quiz scores between 7.05 and 9.45 points are within one standard deviation of the mean. And if we take a look up here, the numbers between 7 and 9.45 would be 8 or 9. 7 doesn't count because it's less than 7.05. So 8 or 9 counts. I have 7 data that fall in between that one standard deviation. So I'm just going to jot that down. There are 7 scores that are included. Letter B. The standard deviation of quiz scores for Class B is about 1.9. Describe the quiz scores that are within one standard deviation of the mean. So again, we need to find our mean, and we find that by adding all the values together and dividing by the total amount. There are a total of 12 again. So we have 8 plus 5 plus 3 plus 7 plus 7 plus 9 plus 7 plus 9 plus 7 plus 8 plus 10 plus 10. And we're dividing that by 12. When we do that, we get 90 over 12, which equals 7.5. This is the mean. And again, we're going to take the mean and add our standard deviation of 1.9. And we're going to subtract our standard deviation of 1.9. This gives us a range of values. So when we add, we get 9.4. And when we subtract, we get 5.6. This means that quiz scores that are between 5.6 and 9.4 points are within one standard deviation of the mean. And let's take a look and see what values are included here. So between 5.6 and 9.4 would be the numbers 6, 7, 8, and 9. So it looks like we have 8 there. There are 8 scores that are included.